What's up, guys? This is Marquette here with The Signal Dating. This is going to be the first video that we're dropping on Patreon, so I appreciate all of you being here. Now, when I start with these first couple of videos, I really want to start with the most impactful videos that I can show you all. And I want to start with foundational concepts, like the fundamental ideas you got to understand in your journey of becoming a better man and more attracted to the opposite sex. And what I have behind me, well, you can't probably read my writing. I have terrible handwriting. Is a concept that's called the 3 pillars of attraction. Now, this is not my concept. This is a concept that I actually learned from my coach. Yes, I too had a coach. His name is Pat Stedman. And he came up with this concept that is really mind-blowing, right? It's the most amazing concept that I found in the realm of attraction, because what this thing is going to do is, no matter where you are in your journey, right? Whether you are a beginner who's never kissed a girl, whether you're an intermediate who can probably get dates but have a hard time like getting past the first date and getting to the second and third and the relationship phase, or whether you're just an advanced playboy who is just trying to tweak and refine your process in order to improve your results, you're going to be able to leverage this thing. And immediately, once this video ends, know exactly what you need to do in order to improve your game, exactly where you're gapped, and exactly what you need to do to fill the gap in order to improve your outcome. So we're just going to jump right into things. Again, it's called the 3 pillars of attraction. So we have pre-selection, persona, and personality, okay? Pre-selection, persona, and personality. So we're going to start with pre-selection. So pre-selection is essentially the unconscious signal that other women already desire you. Right? The unconscious signal that other women already desire you. So the way pre-selection works is you have to ask yourself, how attractive are you before you engage anyone? When you walk into a room, how attractive are you on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And we want to get that as high as we possibly can, because the function that pre-selection serves is it creates opportunities. The higher your pre-selection is, the more opportunities you will have to engage with women and eventually get them in a romantic way, right? So, a couple of traits of pre-selection: popularity or fame, right? The more popular you are, the more fame you have, the more attention you have on you, you're going to naturally pique the curiosity of women, right? So, like, if you grow a huge social media following, right? And maybe you're not like a celebrity status in your hometown or in your city, but on social media, you have a very high following and a lot of other women engaging you. In that context, your pre-selection is going to be high, which makes me think of another point. So pre-selection is context dependent. I don't know if you all seen my video on TikTok where I tell men who are not that attractive to find domains or areas where their pre-selection is higher. Essentially, if they have a skill, right, that is valuable in a certain context, I tell them to put themselves in that environment and approach women there, right? So let's say you're a stand-up comedian. You're probably going to have your highest pre-selection in a comedy club. So that's where you want to try to attract women, where your pre-selection is the highest. If you're a good-looking guy, this also factors into pre-selection. This is where the red pill focuses. Everything in pre-selection is where the red pill focuses. But as you can see, there's 2 other pillars. So the problem with the red pill is they oversimplify attraction and try to make all men focus their attention here. That's why they focus so much on looks maxing. Looks maxing is a pre-selection game, right? If you look better, you're going to get more opportunities just because you look better. No matter where you go, your pre-selection is going to be relatively high because you're a good-looking guy, right? That's also why the red pill focuses on money. Money, again, is pre-selection. If you have displays of wealth, if you have like a Rolex on or something like that, it's going to subcommunicate that you have a lot of resources, which is going to get the attention of the opposite sex. Being in good shape is also an indicator of pre-selection, right? Like I said, displays of wealth. Good style is an indicator of pre-selection. And notice that some of these things are going to be fixed, like your physical attraction, your level of physical attraction, like your facial genetics. You can't really change those without without surgery, right? You can't change how your face looks, but you can improve your style. You can improve your popularity by just becoming a more socially skilled person. You can control how good of shape you're in. So this is not a fit state. You can make more money. You can become more of a leader and start being the leader of men, or at least the leader of your social group. These are things that are going to help your pre-selection, right? Additionally, having attractive women around you. If you have attractive women around you, other women are going to assume that you're safe, assume that you're a pretty chill guy. That's why a lot of, dating coaches advise men to go out with women, because when you have women around you, it makes it so, again, you're pre-selected, you're pre-vetted. Like if you were a creep or a weirdo, these women would not be in your space. So obviously there's something to you that makes you magnetize women, even if it's only platonically, right? So that's pre-selection. We're going to make other videos where we go more of a deeper dive into each one of these pillars. But first I want to give y'all a top level of understanding. This is going to be an area that a lot of guys need to work on, right? A lot of dudes are going to need to work on this. I've talked to so many men on TikTok and even in my personal life, because I coach people who I'm around all the time. And a lot of them don't understand how much pre-selection they're leaving on the table for simple reasons, like they don't have a good haircut, like they haven't dialed in their style, they don't know how to dress properly, like they're just so overweight that it's going to be an uphill battle. Like it's not impossible for, heavier men to attract the opposite sex, but it just makes it a lot harder. Just lose the fucking weight. When you lose the weight, your pre-selection will go up. So I just want to give y'all like a surface level understanding of this, because even with the surface level understanding, you're going to be dangerous. All right, let's move on. The next thing we have is persona. Now, persona is the version of yourself that you curate to be compelling. Now, when people talk about game, they're talking about persona. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about persona. Your sense of humor, your charisma, your likability, your charm, your detachment, your playfulness, being cocky, being smooth, being mysterious. The list goes on and on. All of these things are going to cultivate more of a persona. Now, I need you to understand and to look at these three pillars holistically, because they feed into one another, okay? Pre-selection is going to give you opportunities. Persona is going to be able to allow you to capitalize on those opportunities. And we'll get into personality later, but this is going to be like how you retain women with your personality, right? Now, here's the important point. If one of these areas is very weak, you're going to have to compensate with another area. So if your pre-selection is really low, if you have a 2 out of 10 in pre-selection, you're going to have to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10 in persona. It's going to have to carry some of that dead weight, right? Conversely, if your persona is very low, you're going to have to compensate with pre-selection. And that's actually what a lot of celebrities do, right? When you see people like Future or Drake or all these rappers who you can tell aren't that good with women, they get women, but they can't keep the woman. It's pre-selection. They have high pre-selection, so they get a lot of leads, but because they're boring or don't have the persona, they can't keep them around for any kind of length of time, right? They're corny. They're lame, right? Look at Shameik Moore. Shameik Moore, a lot of pre-selection. Nigga was Spider-Man. You should be swimming in it. Shameik, join the Patreon. You should be swimming in it. But Shameik had the popularity and fame, but he was a lame. He did not have persona. He wasn't likable. He didn't have charisma. He wasn't detached, which was a big one with him because he was so invested in getting Hailey to notice him. His persona was probably around a 2 out of 10, and it put too much pressure on his pre-selection. So when your pre-selection is high, your persona is low, you'll get a lot of like initial opportunities, but you won't be able to capitalize on them because pre-selection is going to be the marketing of attraction. Persona is going to be the sales of attraction. This gets you attention. This helps you capitalize on attention. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to go over is going to really focus on this category. It's going to be focusing on persona. You have to start incorporating some of these traits. You're going to have to learn how to be more charismatic. You're going to have to learn how to be more likable. You're going to have to learn how to be detached and be okay with losing a woman. Because if you're not okay with losing her, she's going to pick up on that shit. And that's going to make her disrespect you and cross boundaries because she knows no matter what she does, she's not going anywhere. This is going to be your game. When you're approaching women, this is what you're going to be using. When you're on dating apps creating conversations, this is what you're going to be using. When you are on a date, right? This is what you're going to be using. When you get into a relationship, This is what you're going to be using, because contrary to popular belief, a lot of guys have this belief that once they get into a relationship or a marriage, they're done. They can relax. They can be Thanos at the end of the Marvel movie, looking out on the farm and being like, I can watch the sunrise. I can finally relax. You can never relax when it comes to women. You can have moments of peace. You can have moments of relaxation, but you're never out the game. You're never done, because once you think you got her and it's a done deal, that's when you lose her. So persona is going to always be something you have to have on. You're going to always have to be able to incorporate these traits. This needs to be your default. But here's the beautiful thing. All of these things are skills. Charisma is a skill. We'll make a video about that in the future. Likability is a skill. Charm is a skill. Detachment is a skill. Playfulness is a skill. Being smooth is a skill. Being mysterious is a skill. These are all learnable things. You're not born knowing this shit. These are learnable. Even the guys who you perceive to be naturals with it, all they did were they were around a guy who displayed these traits, whether an older brother, whether they're a father, whether they're a friend, and then they just learned that shit through osmosis. These are all learnable. You can learn this shit. I don't care if you're autistic. I don't care what your situation is. You can learn how to increase your persona. The goal is not to be a 10 out of 10 in all categories, because that is impossible. The goal is to not be so weak in any of them that you're requiring another category, another pillar to compensate. That is our goal. If we can get you to a 7 out of 10 in all of these, you will be fine. Let me say that again. If we can get you to like a 7 out of 10 in all of these, you will be fine. Even in your journey to become a 7 out of 10 in these categories, you're going to have so many opportunities, because so many men don't have this framework they're working with, and they have no idea why they are not getting the outcomes they want. So just being aware of this shit, just being aware of it, puts you so far ahead of the game. That's crazy. Okay, let's move on. The last one is personality. Now this is the deeper one, right? Personality is what's going to make you compatible with a woman. It's also going to make you be able to keep women around. Men who can't keep women like over the long term, they keep entering into situationships, they keep entering into relationships that last like a year or two. This is what they're missing. Personality is who you are at your core. A lot of people have unhealthy personalities. When we call somebody toxic, we're saying they have a personality problem, right? When we see someone who gets very angry very fast, they have a personality problem, right? When we talk to a lot of guys who are like, I'm cool being single. I make videos and there's always a couple of guys who comment like, you got it, bro. You can have them all. Personality problem. These guys are watching the videos because they're engaging with relationship and dating videos because they're interested in it, but they're too much of a pussy. They lack courage to admit that they want success in that area, so they cope by being disinterested. But what they don't realize is by you seeing this video shows them that you're interested, because that's how the algorithm works, right? When I'm not interested in the video, I scroll. I feel no need to comment. I don't engage. You're engaging because you have a secret desire to deal with women, but you don't want to be let down. You don't want to feel hope, right? So it creates cognitive dissonance. You're saying you're not interested, but you're doing the behavior of someone who is interested. It's cognitive dissonance. Again, it's a personality problem. So your personality is going to default to your values, your vision, your intelligence, your Myers-Briggs score even, right? A personality type indicator, psychographic measurement, and your integration. We're going to have to unpack this. This is going to be the most meaty type of videos that we make, because the difference that I have with like a lot of other dating coaches and a lot of people who are on the red pill is I focus a lot on development, right? I want women to be a byproduct of you becoming an amazing man. I do not want you learning pickup artist tactics and because again, pickup artists are right here. That's where pickup artists are. Pickup artists maximize persona, but they can never keep a woman around because they're missing personality. Eventually, she will find you out. If you focus just on persona and you just learn tactics, you're setting yourself up for failure, because eventually the mask is going to drop, because this is a mask. We all have them. We all have a persona, right? It's just part of being a person. The person you are around your friends is different from the person you are around your family. We all have these social masks. This is about optimizing that social mask for attraction, right? This is going to help you both just socially in general, like at work, networking, all types of stuff. Maximizing persona will help. But if you focus all of your attention here and none of your attention here, you're going to lose opportunities. So the girlfriend you want, she's not going to stay. The wife you marry, she's going to divorce. She's going to probably take all your shit. You don't want that to happen. So you need to have a healthy psychology. You need to have a healthy personality. You have to do the self-work. That's why I make so much content about men having courage, right? You have to learn what masculinity is and integrate those qualities into yourself. Because if you fail to do so, you're going to have a miserable life. Allow all the things you want in your life to be a byproduct of you working on this, whether that's money, whether that's career, whether that's women, whether that's fatherhood. It's all going to hinge upon how healthy this shit is. Even your general happiness, your general disposition towards happiness is going to depend on how strong you are here. Personality is the foundational element, right? And it's actually where you should start, to be honest. A lot of guys don't have a healthy psychology. They don't have a healthy personality, right? They have low self-esteem. They have, they can be manic, right? They could be kind of bipolarish, right? The reason why this is so important is because if you do not work on this, as we discussed, you're going to lose opportunities. But additionally, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you are attracting other people who are not good at this shit. We know when they say you attract what you are, or like attracts like, this is what they're talking about. Your self-esteem lives here, right? People who are on similar levels of self-esteem tend to attract one another. That's where the whole trauma bonding thing comes into play, right? If you're more of a spiritual person, we can call this like consciousness. The higher your consciousness, the more likely you're going to attract someone else of high consciousness. A low consciousness person doesn't attract a high consciousness person, right? And some of you have a higher consciousness. Some of you have a healthier personality, or else you wouldn't really resonate with my content, right? We can go deeper with this. You know, a lot of guys think they're introverted and they don't want to go to clubs and stuff like that. Like, I'm not a club guy, right? It's not because I'm introverted. I just don't like that environment. A lot of it is a consciousness issue. When we deal with club environments, we're dealing with people who are low on the scale. That's why they enjoy that environment so much, because this isn't developed. They're not integrated, right? So understand, all of this feeds into one another. This is the marketing of attraction, pre-selection. This is the sales of attraction, persona. This is the product of attraction, personality. This is who you are. A lot of you have a good product, but you have bad marketing, right? Or you have a good product and you have bad sales, right? You look at like Keith Lee. What does he do? He goes to a restaurant that has phenomenal food, a phenomenal product, and then he makes a video about it, leveraging his celebrity, which is offering the product, his pre-selection, because people trust him. They think he knows what he's talking about, which in turn brings the people more customers. You have to think of this framework this way. So what I want you guys to do, grade yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 in each one of these categories and drop a comment, and then tell me what your plan is to do to raise that number. Because you want to start with whatever area you're weakest, right? You want to maximize wherever you're strongest in, but you want to make sure you're not debilitating yourself anywhere. So if you're below a 5 in any of these categories, I need you to identify it. I need you to tell me what you're going to do to improve it. Don't worry, this was like a top level overview of the 3 pillars of attraction. We'll probably make a video doing more of a deep dive into each one of them so you can get more context. But trust me, what you just learned puts you in the top 10% of men. Men do not know this shit. They have no idea what this is. And when you understand this shit, you're going to be a danger to women in a good way. Not a physical danger to women, but you're going to become more Casanova-like once you really get this shit down. Okay? So drop a comment below with your plan, and I'll see y'all next week with another video.